Hello, everybody. I'm so happy you could join us. This should be a very enlightening conversation this evening. But before we begin, I want to do some introductions. My name is Melissa Yingst, the host of Elmira and I in the Convo Hangout. And I'm a brown-skinned Latino woman. I'm using my hair back with gold earrings. I have a black tank top with a gray cardigan over me, and I am in front of blinds. Let me turn it over to whoever's next.
I'll go next. Hi, how are you doing? I'm Allison. This is my name sign, and currently a spiritual small business. And my visual description is I have a white background, white skin, blue teal hair. I have glasses on, and I have a stone necklace, and I look forward to chatting with all of you. And I'm a coach of a small business.
Hi, my name is Belinda. I'm from Norway. I have a black top on with a green bandana with my hair pulled back. I have a gray background, and I'm also a medium student, an artist, all encompassing.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. Hello, everybody. I know I'll start with the introduction and then we'll go to backgrounds. I'm a bohemio, that's my page. I'm working on my website. I do a lot of things related to holistic spirituality and holistic health. That's definitely my passion. I have curly brown hair and a white sweatshirt, 2 necklaces on, some fashionable earrings.
I like.
Thank you. My background is very bohemian. I have some tapestries hanging on my wall, and it's not straight. It's actually slanted a little bit on the side. I have light on my face because light is king. And yes, I'm just happy to be here.
This is Melissa. I'm so happy to have you here, you all here. And the reason why I said this was going to be an enlightening conversation, you all will probably figure it out when we first start this discussion. This discussion is about what is manifestation. Now, you notice that I didn't sign it. I finger spelled manifestation. And I think that we had a wonderful discussion beforehand on what the sign for manifestation is. And so I can't wait for everybody to share their sign for that.
This is Alan. Yes, we did have a great discussion about that. And Stephanie was talking about that it was definitely the new hot word right now. To me, manifestation is an imaginary tool of things that haven't yet happened, but making you excited to make those things reality. And so it's definitely a vision tool, and I felt connected to that sign. Manifestation is when I do it from my chest and I do out the energy going out, because when you have a thought, it could become reality. The thought can be great, but it's also great knowing that that could be create reality too. So there's like magic in the air when you make that sign. And I love everyone else's signs, so I'll turn it over to somebody else.
Yeah,
But manifestation is a great sign.
it's like
Because
your thought actually becomes realistic.
that's right, because it becomes a reality, and that's where the magic happens.
I like that. This is Stephanie here. Uh, my thought process, I'm inspired by the word enlightenment. And
Yes.
the reason why is because it's the mind and the heart, and they connect with each other. And oftentimes your mind will run one way and your heart will run the other way, and they're not connected. And when you connect them, you're manifesting. And you can't really manifest until your mind and your heart are connected. And that's when you're able to consciously manifest. Because manifest, the word means to be. Sometimes, even when things go awry, you manifest and it turns into to be.
So this is Melissa. I like that sign because it's your mind and your heart connecting, and that's what happens when you manifest, isn't it? So that
Absolutely. When
sign
they
shows
connect.
it.
Yep, absolutely. It's like synchronicity. That's another thing I wanted to mention.
Oh, this is my favorite topic. This is Allison.
Yeah, this is Stephanie. It's when things happen and people are like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that happened. It's like synchronicity.
Oh,
Or when somebody calls, or maybe the TV turns on and you think, oh, I was just thinking about that person or thinking about that topic.
yes,
And
this
so a
is
lot of
Melissa
those
numbers.
times will come up.
I always see 11, always. And I definitely want to talk about that. Let's talk about that soon. Okay.
Yeah, Stephanie here. Those are powerful reminders. Those are reminders, and
They're
synchronicity is
signs.
interesting because a lot of times we'll overlook these things. Even Albert Einstein quoted, he said, "Those who do not recognize synchronicity as everyday life are insane," because a lot of us sometimes we don't recognize those things, and then all of a sudden the light appears and we see those things.
Right. And I saw 555 right before I started this. So it's definitely something that relates exactly to what you just said.
Stephanie here. Yeah, that's a shift. That means a good, happy change. And this conversation, just like as we're having, it's shifting.
Thank you. Belinda, do you have anything to share? This is Belinda. I sign manifestation the same way as Allison. It's like the energy coming out of your body. And I definitely agree with you, but the sign that you did, Stephanie, is new for me, but I like it. I think both work, and we'll see what really connects with the people. But yeah, I definitely agree with you.
This is Allison. And manifest, this is another sign also I've used, but I'm sure that we will discuss more as we go into this next half an hour.
Yeah, this is Stephanie. So it has to do a lot with visualization. So visualizing something's going to happen. And when you manifest something, it's really more directly when you're doing that sign, how you're showing it, but that sign of in enlightenment and having that mind body, because when you're doing it from your chest out and you're showing that energy, that's if you feel something and you know something will happen and you just feel really really sure that something will happen or you're going to win something, then I think that works.
I think we can, this is Allison. I think we can also get a lot of input from the community as well.
It's true.
Now, this is Melissa. And now, how did you all get started with manifestation? I want to hear about your journey. And this is Allison here. I have actually been involved since my whole life. I've been very spiritual, but what really got into manifestation was the Gabby challenge. For a lot of people during the pandemic, I was reading a lot about Gabby Bernstein, and then I saw the manifestation challenge, and I was curious about what it was about, and I always wanted to have a spiritual community in ASL. So I set up an Instagram account it was just a dream of mine. And I went ahead and shared that on Instagram. Thank you, Melissa. That's how you reached out to me. I
Yes.
set up this group, and it was because of COVID, the lockdown, we all felt stuck. And I thought it would be wonderful to have a support system. I started a Facebook group and then continued on with that Gabby challenge. And I saw intense results, and it's all about the mindset and the commitment, and meditating. There was different challenges every day that help shift and reframe our thought process and our energy. And after doing that, I just felt so good. And I wanted to have a group of people in that field. And what ended up happening is that so many people reached out, and we have such a wonderful group. And that was my start. And I've taken astrology classes and started to really discover about universal law. I grew up at Jewish community, not practicing, but Jewish community. And there was a writer, a rabbi, and a Christian pastor. They wrote a book, and it was about universal law. And I was curious to learn more about that. And within universal law, it parallels with chakra or Newton's law, very philosophical. Philosophers started this a long time ago. And as I understood universal law, I understood the law of manifestation. And that really just started my journey of studying more about manifestation and wanting to share this with the community. And I've been doing this for a few years. And I've been doing short online courses explaining universal law, which in turn explains manifestation and the law of manifestation and Newton's law. And I knew that concept was there, but I didn't understand what the word manifestation was until 2019 from Gabby's challenge. And here we are, manifesting my journey.
Yeah,
I could go
you made it
hours on
happen.
this, but let me make sure I keep it short.
I do remember that 40-day challenge that they recommended we join. Yeah, there was
20 day
20
challenge.
people. That's right. That's right. But you know what? I didn't really fully understand it at the time. I didn't think I put a lot into it.
Hmm.
And you have to put in a lot to get a lot out of it. So yeah, we'll continue the discussion. Does anyone else want to share their journey? This is Stephanie. I think that correlates with intention. You don't consciously manifest without being conscious. And really, intention, all it is a pathway to everything. It's a pathway to clarity, to considering your relationships, to thought, to creating new habits, to developing and maintaining those relationships. All of that, even down to finances, lifestyle.
Oh, I think you're freezing a little bit, Stephanie. This is Melissa. Yep, Stephanie, you're a little bit choppy.
It's strange. I could see you guys very clearly. Huh.
This is Allison here. There, you can manifest a goal, but there's more to it. There's feeling it and envisioning it, and there's a goal, but there's a lot more to it, and it has a lot to do with feeling.
That's right. It has to do a lot with beliefs. So not giving up, but just making sure that you stay intentional and keep going, having the thought behind your actions to keep moving forward.
This is Melissa. So tell me your journey, Belinda.
This is Belinda. Yeah, I know you've known my story, but understanding that there are challenges that come up from time to time. And you know that manifesting is real, but how can you get to manifesting things? And of course, on your journey, there's so many paths you can go. And obviously, manifestation really can influence a lot of people, but without manifesting things, then you're really lost. So going on social media was the start of my journey, meeting people, meeting Allison, and just learning as much as I could, becoming more conscious about how we can work through the process and finding all the resources that were out there. And eventually I learned. And of course, once you start manifesting, things will start happening for you and they'll align. And it's a natural thing. It comes in its own time. And over time, I've started to understand the concept a lot more.
And this is Stephanie. Hopefully, I am clear.
You do
But
look good now.
how I started realizing was by meditating a long time ago. It was a man's guidance to enlightenment. A guide to enlightenment, and somebody gave that to me, and I looked at it, kind of laughed it off. And at that time, I was a young mom. Now I have two grown kids. But one cold fall day, I was feeling a little dreary and low, and I decided to look at this book. My daughter was sleeping, so I sat there and I meditated, and I went through a breathing process, and I consciously said, just do it. And it was almost like I woke up with a blank canvas, and I reached somewhere with clarity, and it allowed me to have this clear vision. And that was almost 20 years ago. My daughter's almost 20 years old. And so from
Wow.
there, I got that clarity, and thinking about the world, and all of a sudden it turned so silent. And I went through the intention, and I went through all these steps, and everything kind of synced together, and it just became very natural.
This is Allison. It's a spiritual journey, isn't it? We're all in these different stages of our life, and it takes us to the place where we need to get to, which is awakening.
I'm trying to think of a really clear example, a concrete example. Actually, at that time, I was a grad student at Gallaudet, and I was a grad student, and I was living in Frederick, Maryland. I had I lived out on the West Coast, and I moved out to the East. And it was a cold day, and I was driving on the highway to go to school, moving very fast. And I saw this van in front of me, and it was moving very slow. It was only going about 55 when really it's a 70-mile zone. I saw the license plate and it was a Florida plate. And I thought, well, what's a Florida vehicle doing here in December? They should be down in Florida at this time. And the number is 239. And at that time, I was studying a lot about numbers, angel numbers, and animal spirits. And once I was conscious of numbers, I saw the vehicle go over to the next lane. It allowed me to pass it. And then after I looked up 239. And it says that 239, when you see those numbers, you should explore that. Maybe it's somewhere you'll live near. And actually, the punchline is my area code is 239.
You're kidding me.
So that's an example of things that have happened. Now, did I manifest that this would happen? That's just an example of one of many things.
This is Melissa. That leads to another question that I had. So manifestation is not necessarily something that you think is going to happen or something. It could also be when you notice something and then you put it in your subconscious and perhaps it'll happen later. So I think it really can be both, can it?
This is Stephanie. Subconscious is the key to everything. And a lot of people will say, well, why does this keep happening? Or why does this keep happening? Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad. And it could be the same type of maybe relationships or the same type of issues, whether it come with job or family, friends. It usually is typically frustration because your subconscious is seeing those things, and it's interesting. Your consciousness becomes unconscious and you seem to hit those same walls. And sometimes you have to stop hitting those same walls and instead study what's happening. Your subconscious is maybe saying, is your subconscious actually 90% of your being.
Wow.
So if you think something keeps happening, it's actually because it's subconsciously always happening. Whether you have a relationship through meditating or quieting your mind, maybe painting or different activities that will strengthen your subconscious. Allison and Belinda, do you have examples of that?
This is Allison. Life is a pattern and it really connects with all the patterns that go on. But a lot of us just go through life without even recognizing it. But in your job or any situation you're in, patterns will happen and often we'll overlook them. But if we're conscious of that, the more we pay attention to these signs, the more we could see those patterns. And we're making that effort. We're seeing the energy and we're going, this is a good type of energy or this is not. And perhaps that energy is getting you to upgrade to the next level. So typically we're stuck in these same patterns, different types of addictions and things like that. So if we really take a good look around at everything and see the patterns that are happening, see the energy that's out there, it becomes a lot more complicated. And in my mind, it's just fascinating.
This is Belinda. Yes, you're absolutely right. And feeling that energy, it enlightens ourselves and it boosts ourselves to match with the energy that we're feeling. Fears and negative energy will dissipate.
This is Stephanie. That's definitely something that goes on. There's always this duality. We live in a dualistic world all the time. So fear, of course, the world operates on that. And people are very hesitant to do anything and they're in their fight or flight mode. And this is you. So we give our power away all the time. And the duality of it is the opposite of fear is love. And that's why they're always saying that we're at war with the duality of concepts. And people often say about spiritual people, they say, you must be happy all the time. And the reality is actually no. Being spiritual means that we are open to all of our shadows. We're able to see everything. And of course, we wrestle with the worst and the best. Yeah.
And this is Allison here. We accept to grow. I'll give a perfect example. Last year, uh, I started a new job, a lot of changes in my life that became very overwhelming. And then my grandfather, who I was very close to, passed away. And I knew that I couldn't last this job that I was at, but I was staying there because of financial reasons. But I was seeing the signs that I wasn't healthy, I wasn't being myself, I wasn't making time for myself, and the universe was telling me, um, you've got to change something. I had an autoimmune
Mm.
flare up, and I couldn't even walk, and my body was telling me that you need to leave this job, and I kept trying to put a wall up and say, no, let me keep doing this job. And I got very sick. And about a year ago, I said to myself, I'm going to stop and focus on myself and manifest what I would like to manifest. And I ended up starting this business. I did have to go through a really hard time first, a really uncomfortable time. And it was a lot of spiritual growth. And sometimes you do have to get through that. And it can be very scary to get to where you are. So I am grateful for the journey
Wow.
that led me to where I am now, to the love and happiness. And I am content and I have everything that I want because I listen to my spiritual self. And that's hard.
I agree. This is Belinda. Definitely focusing on yourself is one thing, but self-love comes first in the process before everything else comes. It's so important. Self-love is something that's internal. I mean, we see everything that happens in our world externally, but self-love is something that you need at the core because we get fed by so many things in our society, and manifesting is so much easier when we truly focus on ourselves and we love ourselves in the process and develop that self-love. So when things do happen, we're able to meet those things and face those things, and we heal our inner child and we remain humble and we keep focusing on the good things and the light and maintain that passion so you can keep going where you want to go.
This is Allison. It's sad, but unfortunate that a lot of us don't know how to trust ourselves
Oh,
and
it's
don't
so
know how to
true.
make decisions for ourselves. I am still working on that, but I used to rely on
Hmm.
others for decision making. But I have the power to make my own decisions. And some of us don't have that, and it's okay. It's a process.
Yep. Belinda, you can go. This is Stephanie. This is Belinda. I always say in spirituality, it's always easy to understand how manifestation works. And my heart is at my core, and I feel my heart is always connected to anything that's in my physical space. Anything that I do as I
Love
go
that.
on in life, I recognize if I'm not operating from a place of true love, I'm not able to get it. So that always has to be at that core, that heart in the center, that passion, that energy will always vibrate out into everything I do. And I always imagine there's a cord attached to it and it'll bring things closer, the things that I want. So that visualization is something that I use. And it's just a good example of how we could do all of that.
And this is Allison. In case you don't know what vibration is, it's a lot of it's in it's related to a lot of energy based feelings.
Mhm.
One of my favorite movies, it's called The Secret. If you know The
Yeah.
Secret, it's the
Yeah.
law of attraction. Law of attraction. There's different signs
Hmm.
for that. But one guy was struggling with dating, and what it comes down to, the movie talks about the secret. And there used to be a lot of different philosophers, Einstein, Plato. The philosophers knew the secret. And now, and they held on to that
Hmm.
secret and they didn't share it. And now we're really seeing the secret being shared. But it started with how you feel. And the guy went into this house and he noticed that there was a lineup of different pictures of women. And he said, well, what's the deal with these women? And he says that I'm actually struggling um, on dating women, and I'm not able to meet the right woman. So
Yes.
Stephanie is also explaining this.
Yes, this is Stephanie. He would also paint the back of a woman because the woman wasn't paying attention to him. So he was definitely painting that to show what was going on.
Thank you for refreshing my memory. Yeah, this is a life-changing book, and I highly, highly recommend reading it. But because this gentleman changed his energy, he
Mm-hmm.
changed his mindset, and he unconsciously did not realize that he was placing women on a pedestal based off of their photos and based off their body shape.
This,
And so he manifested and changed how he thought,
mhm.
and then ended up getting married not
Yeah,
long
this
after.
is Stephanie. That ties into intentionality perfectly. It's intentionality. Well, let me give you a formula. It's one of several, I'm sure, but it's the intention plus intuition. And that equals manifestation. That pretty much sums it up. So if you want to take notes, you can. But again, it's intention
I love that
plus
formula.
intuition equals manifestation. Your intuition, it's not bad, right? So your intuition is an amazing thing that we all have. And it's incredible because I know my intuition is wise. We all have this intuition. And sometimes things could be so quiet and we could just feel connected to our mind and our body. And we could be channeling things that are out there in the universe. And then all of a sudden, things are just quiet. But even then, you have another voice that's even quieter and wiser. And we don't realize what we truly are. The universe has layers to it. It's, well, there's one experience that I did have looking up at the stars, but there's another layer out there, and there's other layers, even beyond layers that we could see. The layers of the galaxies have layers, if that even makes sense. So you look out there and you could think about that. Even the animals and the trees have this innate wisdom that today it's so hard for us to see. We're in such a busy lifestyle and we're constantly bombarded with information, and you could see all of these people on the street. So there was a hurricane here, and imagine it's really everything was pretty ruined. And in one space, it was very nice, but intuitively, I ended up moving this animal to this turtle that was walking across the road to this other space across the street. And I felt heartbroken. It was just, how can we be so oblivious? There was magic that was happening right in front of our face. I know this is beside the point, but it's
I love
just
that.
paying attention to all of these things it'll enrich our intuition, and that's really what it's about. Often people say looking internally in our inner child, and these things can be painful at first, of course. Looking within, seeing why we feel this way. Are we feeling vulnerable? And that vulnerability is your true power. It really is. There's power in vulnerability. I have so much to say about this. This is definitely my passion, but
I, we could all spend hours on this.
weeks, weeks.
This is Melissa. For somebody who's not really into manifestation, looking at this conversation, there is so much more that I feel like I need to analyze within myself. For example, maybe I don't even realize this, and this was not intentional, but
Mhm.
I've always talked about moving back to New York City. I loved living in New York City. I absolutely loved it. And the past few years, I've really started to want to move back to New York City, but an opportunity had not presented itself. I did a vision board recently with Sophia, and I put a large New York City picture in the middle of it and didn't even think about it. I come and visit New York City a lot. And then all of a sudden, there were some changes that happened in my life, unfortunate changes. And then there were some good changes, but they all pretty
Oh,
much pushed me right here to New York City. And so I just moved back here, and a friend said to me, that is manifestation. And you put it
definitely.
out in the universe, and it has now happened for you. And I thought, well, oh my gosh, is this actually manifestation? I did it without even realizing it.
That's right. This is Allison. Things happen for a reason. And you already put that in your subconscious and
Mhm.
didn't even realize this was going to happen. And that's universal law. Our thoughts become reality. It's there.
Wow.
The more you look and the more you're observant, you'll see it. And the thing about universal law, I can't remember everything. It was such a long time ago, but it was about gain and loss. To lose something, you gain something. When you gain something, you lose something. I remember I moved from Chicago. I was heartbroken. I lost my father, my job, but I lost my friends, but I gained so much. I gained the love of my life. I gained the community here. And that was, I knew it happened for a reason. It did. Sometimes it's about timing. Sometimes you have to wait a while and things will happen a little bit later. But it definitely related to the animal, the water, trees, nature, seeing everything just flow in its own rhythm. And of course, we as humans always rely on instant gratification, but we really need to observe nature. We run in parallel with everything out there in nature. There's that law of oneness where we're all interconnected, and there's a natural flow to what's out there. So it's not observe the flow, it's be the flow. Typically, people want to take control of situations, but meditation helps me release that and thinking things will happen naturally. So it's definitely yes. You're
Absolutely.
right about
And
the
if,
subconscious.
if we're talking, if we have time, I would actually love to lead you in a meditation session. Unfortunately, we don't have the time, so maybe another session.
Yeah, we'll do have to do another online meditation session. Why not?
Absolutely. It every time I've done it, it's just amazing. You come out of that just wow, amazing. And I'm sorry, Belinda, I know you wanted to say something.
This is Belinda. I was thinking about the vision board, and keeping a line with your intentions is definitely key. Manifestation also comes from putting things down on your vision board, but also you can pick a new hobby, something like doing some artwork and whatever you want to do, but just letting yourself go and get into it. So I remember I moved and I had nothing to do. And then there was something that was ready for me to, there was a community that was ready for me to join, and they already knew what I needed, even though I didn't know. But there was a hobby that was out there that was open and ready for me. So, it's just pick one hobby that you like to do, whatever it is. And sometimes that'll lead you down to where you need to go.
And be the flow. Don't force it. Because if you
Exactly.
force it, it's not natural. If you just go with the flow, it will unfold and the right people and the right things will happen.
That's right. This is Stephanie. I want to say that thinking about what your true passion is and following your flow, it's that intention behind everything. Because we're so taught in schools on how to think. And what we have is that natural ability to have that and hold that intention inside. And that's completely opposite than what's inside. Perhaps we even have a shadow side that's inside. And so we could study this for days, but the earth is our school. Life, how life is, I can't tell you if anything is the absolute truth. We have to see through things. Allison, did you say something?
Yeah, this is Allison. I just wanted to add one thing briefly. It's like imagining, like Walt Disney. If you can dream it, you can do it. So it starts with a feeling first. The children are very imaginary, and as they get older, society tells them to stop being imaginary. But what I'm feeling and what I'm thinking sometimes, and what I'm seeing sometimes don't mesh, and so we have to mesh that and connect that.
Ah,
I
this is
know we're out of
Melissa.
time.
I feel like we just scratched the surface in all of this, but it's a perfect time to wrap up. I'm seeing several questions related to how we can follow you and what's your page names and how they can get a hold of you. And one person asked Stephanie if you do any meditation sessions. And I'm definitely going to keep in mind that we need to do a live meditation session. Let's do it. I would love to do that on my
Absolutely.
page. Yeah, I've definitely gotten so much great inspiration from this conversation. So I wouldn't mind quickly, let's go around and have everyone talk about their Instagram, Facebook page and introduce how they can get in touch with you. Only if you want to be contacted.
This is Belinda. Please reach out to me on Instagram. I have Facebook, but I don't use it a lot. Instagram is the best way to reach out to me. I have a medium, Belinda Stowe. Also, I have another Instagram group where three women, we have developed a worldwide deaf meditation group. We've been running that for about a year and a half, and we have sessions every 2 weeks on moons and full moons and half moons. It sometimes in ASL or Universal Sign Language, but please check it out.
Thank you. All right, Allison. This is Allison. I'm going to share my Noga. I use Instagram a lot, but I also use Facebook too. I have a website. Keep an eye out. I'm going to be releasing an online course regarding universal law and enlightenment. So take a look at that. And that way you can get a better understanding of what this is all about.
This is Melissa. Wonderful. Thank you, Stephanie. This is Stephanie here. I have Instagram, but mostly I use Facebook, and I also have a website that
Exciting.
is in the works. And so hopefully that will be out soon, but it's Bohemia Modo, Modo. That's on Facebook. I have Instagram, but I use Facebook more. Instagram, I do a remix, which is Savannah Jack. It's kind of a blend of my work and my life. But for Facebook, it's Bohemia Modo, Modo. It was so nice to be
Yes.
here and so wonderful to chat with all of you.
Oh, this is Melissa. I'm so inspired from this conversation. There's a lot of people in our chat that wants to do meditation sessions with you. So it seems like the audience has responded well.
Keep an eye on that, and please, all of you reach out anytime. And I don't know if we have time, but I do offer meditation sessions and intuitive Zen card reading, chakra meditation. I really enjoy facilitating chakra meditation. um, and there's a bunch of others, Reiki as well, but please reach out.
This is Melissa. We'll definitely have you do something on Melmyra after this is over. So I'll text you all and we could definitely get something going because I'm so inspired by all of you. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Oh.
Recording stopped.